There's a report out there that it's saying that the people who's funding the private equity firm that's funding Turkey Al-Sheikh's ability to do all these boxing events and then other Riyadh season events is running low on funds. Said it in the New York Times, right? It's the report. Turkey Al-Sheikh responded via the Ream magazine on Instagram and said that it is simply not true. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you why this report probably got validity, right? And he's been caught lying before. And like I said before, it is what it is. So check out the Boxing News Boxing Replay playlist. So he's been caught before lying. All right. He lied about the whole, recognizing the titles. Remember all that? He lied about recognizing the titles and said, I have no problem with the WBC and we're not trying to phase out the titles and all of that. And then guess what? Per his situation with Dana White, they're trying to phase out the titles. He said some things off the record and some other things that I'll just keep confidential, but he's been, whatever, right? So really, and another thing about it, he lied about pay-per-view. And apparently he had to put stuff back on pay-per-view because that's the only way to turn a profit for a lot of these shows that he putting on. The gate is simply not enough. When you're handing fighters 10, let's just say 10, 12, $15 million, you hand them 10, 12, $15 million, and then the gate is on, let's say the gate on a good night is 7 million. Like, come on, that's not enough. The network probably they might match that 7 million, to buy the fight from the network. That's $14 million. All right, you already got one fighter making 10 or 12. So how you realistically turn the profit? I understand you got sponsors, you got money on the back end with TV rights. So realistically, when them purses got inflated, they had to turn the pay-per-view to make, so you can break even. So you just had to turn the pay-per-view. But, it's just like the fighters, they not eating what they kill. That's the thing. With the money that they're getting, they're not bringing that money back in viewership. Whether it's pay-per-view, whether it's gate, at the end of the day, prices need to go back down. And it's hard to justify, them raising the prices without, they gave them raises, especially Al Heyman. He raised the ticket up without the reasonable cause, just so you won't sign with competitors. So then when you raise, when shit gets so high like right now, and, people want top dollars for tune-ups, networks say, hey, we don't want nothing to do with that. I mean, y'all not bringing no viewership in. We bleed more money. We bleed money. We losing money based on how y'all doing this. So, hey, man, to be honest with you, it ain't worth our time. We out of here. We Audi 3 out. We Audi 3 out of here, right? So Turkey Al-Sheikh came in and said, hey, man, I'll keep paying y'all. Just, give us the fights we want to see. And for the most part, that's happened. But a lot of those fights that people wanted to see, they didn't live up to the hype, or they were, overcooked. So for the most part, yeah, they're not turning a profit. We understand it takes, 4, 5, 6 years sometimes before, you start to see a major turnover. But then we want to see some progress. And these fighters are unknown. These fighters get into these fights and they disappoint. They don't perform. And now everything is behind the paywall. Like, you can't bring fans in behind the paywall. And that's what they answer with the Paramount deal was. With, Zuffa Boxing and Paramount, whatever they calling it. So a lot of those shows is going to be on regular TV, no pay-per-view. You know what I mean? So it's going, that's how you're going to grow the interest in the sport. It's one thing when you got, pay-per-view superstars, that you build. That's cool. Because then you can put talent on their undercard And that talent can get the visibility like fighting on regular TV. And then when they ready to have big fights and be on pay-per-view, then, you know, then you can do that. But you don't have that. You don't really have that luxury. So at the end of the day, if everybody can't access it, it's hard to do a pay-per-view star without another pay-per-view star. They just throwing people on pay-per-view because these guys want more. They want so much money, and they trying to show them like you don't even like have that many fans that's willing to pay for your product to demand this much money. And that's just what it boiled down to. It's a supply and demand. They demand it from a supply that's not there. And that's why a lot of the networks, they financially pulled out of boxing. The amount of money that they paying these fighters, the managers, and not the managers, but the promoters, they getting even more money. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. And that's just the God honest truth. It's the truth. So, ultimately, I can believe there's some validity to that report because he said no bad pay-per-view with the zone, and then they going back to pay-per-view. And I know that for a fact that's the situation because they told me. So it's money again for people that invest money want to see some type of return or some type of uptick. And that's why a lot of them fights gonna start going to Saudi, staying in Saudi. That's why. This is why you got Top Rank having a hard time finding a home base for their fights. It's a wrap, man. A lot of these fighters, man, motherfuckers probably, the top championship fighter probably deserve 100, 150, $250,000 per fight, bro. That's a fact. Motherfuckers don't deserve no money, bro. Look how they fight when they get in the ring, man. It's a pussy fest. Nobody throw punches no more, ain't exciting, don't have personalities no more. Look at the numbers they doing interviews. Look at the promo, the marketing for the fight. Man, these niggas $200,000 fighters, bro. Let's keep it real. These dudes getting all these millions, they fighting like it, bro. And it's one thing to be able to, I work my way up and I earn my spot. A lot of these motherfuckers was gifted this. It ain't none of them niggas got a gold medal to show for it. Nobody got a gold medal to show for it. Once again, nobody got a gold medal to show for it. So you don't even really deserve the pageantry that Holyfield's and Roy Jones, he should have got one. But Pernell Whitaker and some of these other guys, I believe, who got a gold medal, you don't even deserve the pageantry that y'all getting. Y'all coming out, making all this money, and it's like, damn, and y'all ain't did nothing. Y'all ain't had a classic fight. Y'all ain't put hands, foots, and toes on the, y'all got gifted titles that they handed y'all. Y'all ain't have to work for nothing. So the entitlement is when they get in there and fight. I don't care if the fans like it. Okay, cool. Now that money about to come. I believe there's some validity to this report. Turkey been caught lying before. Like I said, he don't owe nobody explanations. Only time will reveal. Time will reveal. But I think it's validity, man. They losing so much fucking money. They lost a bunch of money on Canelo Crawford. I don't know if I ever talked about it or did a video on it. They lost a lot of money on Canelo Crawford. That fight ain't flipped no fucking profit. They lost a bunch of money on that fight. That's the wild shit about it. They lost a bunch of money on that fight. That didn't even turn a profit with Netflix. Wow, right? Super wild. So if that fight didn't turn a profit, think about how much money they fucking losing. They probably like, hey man, we can start having these fights in Saudi. We need to start having these fights in la-di-da-di. Saudi, we likes the party. That shit was on top. Yeah. They lost money on that fight. Been losing money, man. These niggas, nobody know who these fighters are, bruh. Damn, I left my fucking juice on the damn table. Don't nobody know who all these these fighters is. I beg of you. They don't know them. And then when they see them fight, When they see him fight, they trash. Like, come on, man. You think Shakur Stevenson should be making $1 million a fight? Man, that nigga should be paying the promoters to fight. He's horrible. Why want to watch that shit? You can have Andre Ward sit here and talk that shit all you want to. Oh, it's about hit, not get. Okay, nigga, when the money ain't there, let's see if your ass still hit, not get hit. Don't bag them fucking groceries at Walmart, ho. People want to see excitement. People want to be entertained. That's why the whole gladiator thing was so, it's about entertainment. Even though it was callous, it was barbaric, it was nasty work. People wanted to be entertained. You're not getting entertained before the fight, during the fight, after the fight. It's all mundane. It's always the same shit. They all boring. Every now and again, you get a Benavidez, a better BF, or you get a very, very, really, really good fighter that put a clinic on, like Bud Crawford. Even without the finishes, it's a clinic. Usyk, it's a clinic. Then you like, man, that motherfucker the truth. You don't get no real classic shit, man. Look, think about this generation. If they had legendary nights, it'd be about niggas popping hot like Ryan Garcia. Word to the mother, man. But hey, hit the link in the description. Follow me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, everything. Hit the link tree. Appreciate y'all for fucking with the kid. Peace.